How's it going, everybody? CJ here, back in another video. We're doing another first thought today. This first thought is on Veyran, Voice of Duality. Before we hop into this, though, remember, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Like this video. Comment down below what you're doing with Veyran, and if there's any cool interactions that I missed that you found, let me know down below. Also, in the description down below, we have the Discord if you want to join the Discord. We've got the TCG player affiliate link if you buy the cards to talk about in this video. Buy them through there. Helps out the channel. We also got the Patreon. If you want to support the channel, you can support us through there as well. What else do we got down below? We got the Twitch. We got Twitter. And we got my Pokemon channel that I have not started yet. Choose my starter. Come on. Help me choose my starter. And yeah, we're not into this. So, Veyran, Voice of Duality. This card is crazy. It's like a Panharmonicon for casting triggers. It's good. This card's very cool. It's super cool. And it will make a great Magecraft commander. It would make a great Prowess commander if you had a reason to make a Prowess deck. It's a cool Storm commander. But there's a lot of interesting interactions that you can do with this deck. Some of the cool cards that you can throw in here that are very powerful triggers include cards that will copy spells off their trigger. So you got like Double Vision, which you just copy spell. The first spell you cast, you copy, then you copy it again because the trigger. You got stuff like 1,000 Years Storm, which can just go nuts. The Mirari Conjecture, when you get to that last mode, that seems pretty decent. Also, it gives you some card advantage before that. Swarm Intelligence, same thing as Double Vision. You got Melik, is it Paragon, which also same thing. And you got Krark the Thumbless, which can copy, and it can also return spells to your hand, so the Krark trigger gets copied, so you can copy the spell with Krark, or bounce it to your hand, return it to your hand, and not cast it, but you get 2 coin flips. So the odds are in your favor of getting either getting a copy and return to hand, or that's a very good situation because you get to still cast a spell and not have to use the card, or copy it twice, so then you have 3 copies of the spell. Or if you whiff hard and get the double no, then that sucks, but it's unlikely. And so that seems like a cool card in this deck. Next up, I want to talk about cards. Next up is a big category about cards that trigger off of casting instants and sorceries. And so cards that will trigger twice because of Veyran. And we're going to start off with cards that deal damage. You got Aria Flame, which is a pretty good Storm card to begin with. And it'll trigger a lot here. It'll be very powerful. You got the pingers like Electrostatic Field, Jello Electrode, Gelectrode, that one. Thermo Alchemist, all of those seem pretty decent because they untap themselves when you cast stuff. So you can tap it, ping, cast something, untap, ping. The second copy of the untap happens, and then you can ping later. Yeah, Gutter Snipe just to deal a bunch of damage across the board. Let's see what else. What else do we got here? We've got Ralstorm Conduit, which has a lot of upside as well, but its static will just deal damage. And yeah. Next up, I'm going to talk about card advantage based triggers. So cards that will trigger when you cast an instant sorcery and provide you card advantage. You've got Eyes of the Watcher, which gives you the ability to scry. You've got Firemind's Research, which gives you card draw engine. It also gives you an additional damage engine if you need that too. So it's a double whammy there. You got Lunar Mystic to draw cards. You can use Prescient Chimera to scry some more. Trail of Evidence to create, to investigate and create clue tokens, which you can use to draw cards. You got Jorian Rune Diver, so that way you can draw 2 cards on your second instant or sorcery, or is it? Yeah. And a second instant or sorcery in the turn. You got Burning Prophet to do some more scrying. And that's what I got for card advantage stuff. Next up, I want to talk about token creation, because there's a lot of token creators too. You got Docent of Perfection, which is a very powerful token creator. You got Metallurgic Summonings, also very powerful. Would be really cool in this deck. Murmuring Mystic and Talrand are both pretty decent. Same thing with Young Pyromancer and Sahili Sublime Artificer. And then Shark Typhoon seems great. Seems like a great card in the deck. And lastly, I just want to talk about cards that have triggers that don't really fall into these categories and are just kind of cool. You've got Eye of the Storm, which can be pretty insane. So you get a bigger advantage than your opponents do off this because it'll trigger twice for you because your commander specifically says when you cast an instant or sorcery. So you'll be able to do the Eye of the Storm trigger twice and just go nuts casting a million things. You've also got Niblis of Frost, so that way you can tap stuff down. Niv Mizzet Perun, so you can draw cards and deal more damage, but this is going to draw you a lot of cards and deal a lot of damage. Like, that's a very powerful card in this deck. What else do we got? We got Tibor and Lumia. Tibor and Lumia seem very powerful. You can either give stuff flying, so evasion, or what's probably a little better, just start pinging stuff. Seems good. And yeah. Oh, and Possibility Storm. Possibility Storm's an interesting one because you can cast an instant or sorcery, trigger Possibility Storm, and flip into 2 cards and cast both of them. And wait. Hold on. No, Possibilities from hand. So yeah, and then just cast 2 cards, and your opponents will only get to cast 1 card off Possibility Storm because the trigger's not doubled for them. So that's another way to break parity on an interesting card. That seems like a fun card to play. Next up, I want to talk about some spell doubling, because doubling your spells seems very good in this deck, just so you can get more triggers and stuff, and just seems good. And a lot of spell doubling is on instants and sorceries, which is convenient. You've got cards like Bonus Round, very powerful card. Dual Caster Mage, it's on a creature, but it's still going to be good in the deck. Twin Cast and Reverberate are also quality spell copying cards. Reiterate's got buyback, so you can do it more and more. And you got Pyromancer's Goggles, which is a mana rock that lets you do it. And I believe I should have pulled it up, and I did not. Pyromancer's Goggles. When that mana is spent to cast a red instant or sorcery, copy it. I think you might be able to copy it twice. Don't quote me on this, but you might be able to copy the spell twice because it is a triggered ability from you casting an instant or sorcery. So I believe you'll be able to copy the spell twice when using Pyromancer's Goggles. And if so, I believe it'll also work for the reverse side of Primal Amulet, which I will talk about in a second. And I wrote it down somewhere. Where did I write it down? I don't know. That's what I get. I can't find it. I don't think I wrote anything else down. So, yeah. Pyromancer's Goggles and Primal Amulet seem pretty cool for that. Also, Primal Amulet lowers the cost of your spells. So you can also use stuff like Baral, Goblin Electromancer, Jace's Sanctum, which also has a card advantage, cast trigger, and Mizzix of the Ismagus all those to lower the cost of your spells. And you can use Curious Homunculus, which is a mana dork for instants and sorceries that turns into a cost reducer that also has prowess. Seems interesting. Also, when you're doing all the copying stuff, you can throw in, if you do a large number of copying spells stuff, you can throw in Twinning Staff. Unfortunately, Twinning Staff's trigger will not copy because it's not a triggered ability, but it still seems solid in the deck. You're also going to want a lot of cards that will draw you cards, that way you can keep refilling your hand. So stuff like Jessica's Will, Ponder, and these are also cards that are pretty cheap and easy to cast so you can get those triggers very easily. You got Jessica's Will, Ponder, Opt, Brainstorm, Preordain. All those are classic cards. Factor Fiction's a good one to refill your hand. Treasure Cruise, because you're going to be casting so many instants or sorceries, you'll be able to delve away a lot, so that way you can cast Treasure Cruise for 1. And Serum Visions. All those seem like great includes. You got Eternal Kefnet, so that way you can cast stuff off the top of your library. Seems very powerful there. It'll have a lot of hits. You got ways to recur your spells in Past in Flames, Mystic's Mastery, Underworld Breach, and Mystic Sanctuary. All those seem like great includes for this type of deck. And Underworld Breach is especially good if you have like a wheel or something, because you can refuel that wheel and cast it again and again. If you go the Storm route, then you can throw in cards like Sentinel Tower and Aetherflux Reservoir, which are already going to be pretty decent because their triggers will be doubled. So they'll move you much, like they'll just do things a lot faster, which is good. Won't take as many spells cast to get a ton of profit off of them. You can and then lastly, you can throw in Burgie and Runaway Steamkin to add mana. Just a good way to generate a lot of extra mana. And you could also use Burgie to impulse draw and get extra cards. You can use the same thing with Magmatic Chandler as well. That seems like a pretty good. Those both seem like great includes. And that is what I have for Veyran, Voice of Duality. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I will see you next time. Peace out, everybody.